Hey, church family, this is Chelsea, and I'm on staff at our Fairfax site with Children's Ministry and Connections. And today we are in Psalm 104. The psalmist is filled with wonder and overflowing with praise as he considers God's created order and the joy that God takes in his good works. So let's dive in together, and I will share some reflections along the way. The psalm starts out with a cry, "Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, you are very great," and continues to praise him as the God over creation. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as a garment, stretching out the heavens like a tent. He lays the beams of his chambers on the waters. He makes the clouds his chariot. He rides on the wings of the wind. He makes his messengers winds. He ministers a flaming fire. He set the earth on its foundations so that it should never be moved. You covered it with the deep as with a garment. The waters stood above the mountains. At your rebuke they fled. At the sound of your thunder they took to flight. The mountains rose, the valleys sank down to the place that you appointed for them. You set a boundary that they may not pass, so that they might not again cover the earth. A nod to God's power and control over the waters of the great flood. Not only is God powerful, but he is a God of provision, actively sustaining his creation. Starting in verse 10. You make springs gush forth in the valleys. They flow between the hills. They give drink to every beast of the field. The wild donkeys quench their thirst. Beside them, the birds of the heavens dwell. They sing among the branches. From your lofty abode, you water the mountains. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your work. You cause the grass to grow for the livestock, and plants for man to cultivate, that he may bring forth food from the earth, and wine to gladden the heart of man, oil to make his face shine, and bread to strengthen man's heart. The trees of the Lord are watered abundantly, the cedars of Lebanon that he planted. In them the birds build their nests. The stork has her home in the fir trees. The high mountains are for the wild goats. The rocks are a refuge for the rock badgers. He made the moon to mark the seasons. The sun knows its time for setting. You make darkness, and it is night, when all the beasts of the forest creep about. The young lions roar for their prey, seeking their food from God. When the sun rises, they steal away and lie down in their dens. Man goes out to his work and to his labor until the evening. In this section, the psalmist is amazed that God, in his creative care, has even arranged the rhythms of day and night, balancing the life and work for man and for the animal. In verses 24 through 30, we read that God in his infinite wisdom provides for his creation, including the innumerable creatures of the sea. All of God's creation looks to him for provision in due season. He is generous, a faithful and safe provider. His creation is dependent on him for its very breath, and he sustains it by his Spirit. And finally, in verses 31 to 35, the psalmist ultimately shows us that God rejoices in his works because he has made them to reflect himself. 31. May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works. Verse 33. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have my being. May my meditation be pleasing to him, for I rejoice in the Lord. John Piper reflects, in the end, it will not be the seas or the mountains or the canyons or the clouds or the great galaxies that fill our hearts to breaking with wonder and fill our mouths with eternal praise. It will be God himself. As we ourselves take time to meditate on the beauty and wisdom with which he has brought forth all things, may our lips overflow with praise to our good Creator who takes care of us, ultimately through providing his Son, Jesus Christ.